Captain Elias Thorne adjusted the strap of his backpack as he stepped off the shuttle onto the surface of the alien planet. The air was thin, with a faint metallic scent, and the sky shimmered in shades of green and gold that no human had ever seen before. He glanced back at the small team following him, each member equipped with advanced scanners and survival suits. Their mission was simple on paper: investigate the strange energy readings coming from a recently discovered underground complex. In reality, it was dangerous, and every step forward could be the last. The first hour on the planet was eerily quiet. The surface was dotted with jagged rock formations, and strange luminescent plants swayed in the faint breeze. Elias felt a twinge of unease. He had seen many worlds before, but this one was different. There was an intelligence here, something watching them, studying their movements. A sudden rustle in the rocks made him pause. His hand instinctively went to the small plasma pistol on his hip. From the shadows emerged a creature unlike anything he had encountered. Small and lithe, with fur that shimmered like liquid silver and eyes that glowed bright blue, it froze in place and hissed at him. Its ears twitched and claws scraped the rocks as it made a low, threatening growl. "Stay calm," Elias whispered, holding his hands open to show he meant no harm. The team tensed, ready to react, but Elias's instincts told him to wait. The creature's gaze was sharp, calculating. It moved closer, circling him like a predator that had just found something interesting. Elias noticed it wasn't attacking outright. It was wary, cautious yet curious. The moment hung in the air like a fragile thread. Then in an instant it leaped back and hissed again. "I think it's some kind of guardian," said Lieutenant Mara, her voice steady but quiet. "We should keep our distance," Elias nodded. "Agreed. Let's not provoke it." The creature followed them at a distance as the team approached the entrance to the underground complex. It didn't communicate, didn't signal aggression beyond the occasional hiss, but it didn't leave either. It was observing, learning, and Elias couldn't help but feel that there was more to it than mere curiosity. The entrance was a jagged opening in the rock, dark and foreboding. Inside, the energy readings were stronger, fluctuating in ways that made Elias uneasy. "Stay close," he instructed, "and keep your scanners active." The tunnel was narrow and winding. Strange glyphs covered the walls, pulsing faintly with light. Elias touched one lightly with a gloved hand. The glyph shivered under his fingers as if responding to his presence. Suddenly, a deep rumble shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling and small rocks skittered across the floor. The team froze, but Elias pushed forward. "Whatever it is, it's not friendly," Mara said, her voice tight. The rumbling grew louder, and a section of the tunnel collapsed behind them. "Move!" Elias shouted. They ran, dodging falling debris. When the dust settled, Elias looked around. Everyone was accounted for except the creature. Then a soft noise reached his ears. He turned, and the small silver figure appeared, crouched low with its ears flattened. It hissed, but this time it was more cautious than aggressive. Elias felt a strange connection to it, a sense that it understood the danger but wasn't sure whether to trust him. Without thinking, Elias extended a hand. "It's okay," he said softly. "We won't hurt you." The creature hesitated. Its eyes locked onto his, and for a moment Elias felt as if it were studying his very soul. Then, in a move that surprised everyone, it leaped into his lap, curling against him as if seeking protection. The team gasped. Elias froze, unsure what to do. "I'm not your pet," the creature hissed in a surprisingly clear voice, startling him further. The team blinked in shock. The alien could speak, or at least vocalize in a language they could understand. Elias's mind raced. How was this possible? What was this species capable of? Yet despite the words, it didn't move away. It stayed in his lap, claws retracted, eyes bright but wary. Elias exhaled slowly, keeping his hands calm. "I didn't say you were," he replied. "You're just safe here." The creature tilted its head, studying him. It was small but fierce, its body tensed as if ready to spring away at any moment. Yet it remained. Elias felt a mixture of amazement and responsibility. Whatever this creature was, it had chosen him. "Looks like we have company," Mara whispered, shaking her head in disbelief. They continued through the tunnel, the creature still in Elias's lap. It seemed to understand more than anyone had expected. Whenever the team approached a dangerous section, it hissed warnings or pulled Elias back. When a hidden trap activated, only the creature's warning allowed them to avoid injury. Hours passed as they navigated the labyrinthine tunnels. The energy readings led them to a massive chamber filled with strange floating crystals. The crystals emitted a soft hum, vibrating in harmony with the glyphs on the walls. Elias could feel the energy in the air, a tingling sensation that raised the hairs on his arms. The creature stirred in his lap, alert. Its eyes narrowed at a section of the chamber where the crystals pulsed violently. "Stay back," Elias warned the team. He stepped carefully, testing the floor with a scanner. The reading spiked dangerously near the edge of a platform. Suddenly, a section of the platform collapsed. Elias grabbed the creature instinctively, holding it close as he jumped to safety. The crystals crashed to the ground, shattering with a sound that echoed through the chamber. Dust and fragments swirled around them, but the team was unharmed. Elias looked down at the creature. Its eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, and it hissed softly, a mixture of anger and relief. It had trusted him, and he had protected it. "You're incredible," Elias said quietly. The creature's ears twitched, and it seemed to understand the words. For the first time, Elias felt that this alien, despite its fierce independence, had chosen to cooperate. As they rested, Elias realized that the creature, Zira, as Mara finally managed to pronounce its name, was more than a companion. It was a guide, a key to understanding this planet and the mysteries it held. The energy readings were not random. They were part of a system Zira had evolved to navigate. With her help, they could explore further and uncover secrets that no human had ever known. Night fell on the planet's surface, painting the sky with swirling green clouds. Elias sat near a faintly glowing rock, Zira curled in his lap. Despite her protests and hisses, she had remained there through the day's trials. The rest of the team slept nearby, exhausted but safe. Elias watched the stars, wondering what lay ahead. He had faced countless dangers before, but nothing like this. The bond forming between him and Zira was strange, unexpected, and fragile. Yet it was real. She had chosen him, and in a world full of unknown threats, that choice was everything. The chapter ended with a soft hiss from Zira. Elias looked down. Her eyes met his, bright and unyielding, but there was a hint of trust there now. The adventure was far from over, but together, they were ready to face whatever this alien world would throw at them next. And for the first time in his career, Elias Thorne felt that the galaxy had given him a companion unlike any other. A creature that was not a pet, not a tool, but a partner in the truest sense. The next morning, Captain Elias Thorne woke to the soft hum of the alien crystals outside the tunnel entrance. Zira was already awake, perched lightly on his shoulder, her eyes scanning the strange green sky above. The small creature hissed once, not aggressively, but as a warning that they were not alone. Elias rubbed his eyes, stretching. He had slept poorly, the events of the previous day replaying in his mind. Yet Zira's presence was strangely comforting, like a living compass guiding him through this alien world. "Time to move," he said quietly, careful not to startle her. Zira responded with a soft, questioning hiss. Elias smiled. He had long learned that communication with her was more than words. Actions, gestures, and trust mattered more. The team gathered their gear and followed Elias down the rocky slopes toward the next energy reading. The landscape shifted as they walked. Trees made of translucent crystal, rivers of liquid light, and strange insects that glowed faintly in the dim atmosphere. Zira leapt ahead, landing silently, her ears twitching as she detected movement invisible to human eyes. They reached a massive canyon, the walls lined with glyphs similar to those inside the underground complex. The energy reading was strongest at the canyon floor, where a series of floating platforms formed a natural pathway across a river of molten light. One misstep could send them plummeting into the dangerous current below. "Looks like Zira knows the way," Mara said, noting how the creature confidently moved from one platform to the next without hesitation. The team followed carefully, relying on Zira's instinct and Elias's steady hand to maintain balance. Halfway across, a sudden tremor shook the platforms. Elias grabbed a hold of Zira instinctively. She hissed, arching her back, but remained in his arms. A floating crystal above them cracked, sending shards hurtling toward the group. Elias pushed Zira aside, taking the brunt of the falling debris himself. The team scrambled, but everyone made it safely to the other side. "Why do I feel like she's testing us?" Elias muttered, helping Mara up from the platform. Zira hissed in response, a mixture of irritation and amusement. Elias laughed softly, shaking his head. The creature's independence was part of her charm and her danger. On the other side of the canyon, they discovered the source of the energy reading, a colossal alien structure, partially buried in the glowing landscape. Its surface shimmered, covered in glyphs and patterns that seemed to shift and move when viewed from different angles. Elias ran a scanner over the entrance. The readings were off the charts, fluctuating unpredictably. "Whatever this is, it's ancient," Elias said, "and it's alive in a way we don't fully understand yet." Zaira hissed and ran ahead, her claws clicking on the smooth surface. She stopped at the entrance, crouching low, tail flicking nervously. Elias approached slowly, keeping his hands visible. "We're not here to harm it," he said. The creature's ears twitched. It seemed to understand, at least partially. The interior of the structure was even more astonishing. Light refracted off crystalline walls, creating a kaleidoscope of colors. Strange mechanical devices, long dormant, hummed to life as they entered. Elias felt a pulse in the air, like the structure itself was aware of their presence. Zaira moved cautiously, leading the team deeper into the heart of the alien building. Her body pressed against Elias whenever danger approached, yet she maintained her independence, occasionally leaping ahead to investigate corridors or strange devices. The bond between them had grown. Though Zaira would never admit it, she had come to rely on him as much as he relied on her. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shifted. A holographic map projected itself in midair, revealing a network of tunnels, chambers, and energy conduits that stretched beneath the planet. The map pulsed, highlighting areas in red, zones of extreme danger. Elias realized that the structure was not only alive, but it was a defense system, responding to their intrusion. "Stay alert," he whispered to the team. "Every step we take is being watched." Zaira hissed sharply and leapt forward. Elias followed instinctively, trusting her judgment. She led them to a hidden corridor, safe from the traps that activated behind them. The path ended at a chamber filled with massive floating crystals, spinning slowly as if orbiting an unseen core. The energy was almost overwhelming, and the air hummed with a vibration that resonated in their bones. "This must be the source," Mara said, awe in her voice. "The energy readings are coming from those crystals." As they approached, a barrier of light formed, shimmering like liquid. Elias tested it carefully with a probe. The structure seemed to respond to his presence, not aggressively, but as if deciding whether they were worthy. Zaira hissed, her tail lashing. The light barrier pulsed in sync with her body, a sign that the creature's connection to this place was deeper than anyone realized. Elias stepped forward slowly. He placed a hand on one of the spinning crystals. The hum intensified and the barrier faded. He turned to look at Zaira. The creature blinked, ears flicking. Elias realized that Zaira's species had evolved to interact with this kind of energy. She was not just a companion, she was the key to understanding the structure. Over the next hours, Elias and Zaira worked together to stabilize the energy fields. She hissed instructions, moving with precision and grace, and Elias followed, matching her actions. The team marveled at the synchronization. Human ingenuity and alien instinct worked as one, revealing the secrets of the structure layer by layer. Finally, they reached the core chamber. A massive crystal hovered in the center, its energy radiating like the heart of the planet. Elias could feel the power pulsing through the floor, vibrating in his chest. Zaira hissed softly, circling him, her claws lightly brushing his shoulder, a gesture of both warning and trust. "This is it," Elias said quietly. "This is what we came for." The crystal emitted a sudden pulse, sending waves of energy through the room. Lights flickered, and for a moment the team feared they had triggered a defense mechanism. But then the pulse subsided and the crystal's glow softened. Elias realized that it had recognized them, or perhaps Zaira, as worthy. The energy was no longer dangerous, it was alive, aware, and cooperative. Zaira leapt into Elias's lap once more, curling against him. "I'm not leaving," she hissed softly, but there was a calmness in her tone now. Elias smiled, understanding that this moment was more than companionship. It was mutual respect. She had chosen him, and he had proven himself worthy of her trust. The team gathered around the core crystal. Using the data from their scanners and Zaira's guidance, they began mapping the energy networks, unlocking secrets that no human had ever known. Elias felt a surge of pride, not for himself but for what humanity could achieve when combined with courage, empathy, and cooperation. Hours turned into days as they explored the structure. Every new chamber revealed wonders: self-repairing systems, advanced technology and knowledge encoded in the crystals that spoke of a civilization far older than any human record. And through it all, Zira remained at Elias's side, refusing to leave, yet maintaining her fierce independence. She hissed at anyone who got too close, her loyalty to him unshakable. One evening, as the alien sun set, painting the sky in brilliant streaks of green and gold, Elias sat with Zira curled in his lap, watching the horizon. The structure hummed around them, a living testament to intelligence beyond their comprehension. Elias reflected on the journey, the dangers, the discoveries, and the bond he had formed with a creature from another world. They said no human could ever understand this place. Mara said quietly, sitting nearby, "But you did, and she chose you." Elias looked down at Zira. Her glowing eyes met his, bright with unspoken words. He gently patted her head, careful not to upset her. "It's not just me," he replied. "It's all of us." "And you?" Zira purred softly, a sound that surprised everyone. It was not submission, it was acknowledgement, respect, and the beginning of a partnership that would change their understanding of the galaxy. She hissed again, lightly, as if reminding him she was not a pet. Elias chuckled, knowing that he wouldn't want her any other way. The discovery of the alien structure and the bond formed between human and alien spread quickly through their communications once they returned to the station. Humanity had faced countless unknowns in the galaxy, but the partnership between Elias and Zira became a symbol of what humans could achieve. Courage, empathy, and the ability to earn trust in even the most alien of circumstances. Elias stood at the observation deck of the shuttle. As it prepared to leave the planet, Zira perched on his shoulder. The planet stretched below them, alive and mysterious, and Elias knew that this was only the beginning. Together, human and alien, they had unlocked secrets that could change the course of exploration, diplomacy, and understanding across the stars. And though Zira hissed and swatted playfully at his shoulder now and then, she remained at his side, refusing to leave, not a pet, not a tool but a partner, a creature who had chosen him and in doing so, had shown the galaxy what humanity truly stood for. The shuttle lifted off, and Elias looked out at the stars. He had never felt more alive, more connected, or more certain that humanity's place in the galaxy was not just to survive, but to inspire, to lead, and to form bonds that no alien intelligence could ever predict. Zira hissed once softly, but this time it sounded almost like approval. Elias smiled. Whatever lay ahead, they